your magic sauce, combining your spiritual modalities. This is Erin, intuitive medium, Akashic and spiritual mentor. I just shifted that this week. Now I can't remember what I shifted it to. I think I shifted it to Akashic Alchemist. But if you've been following me, you know I've been in prison for quite a while. Well, chair prison because I had knee surgery, so I haven't been able to be outside. So I decided today to actually sit out in the sun for a little bit for once and actually get some sunshine. And I can't hardly see the screen, and the phone is getting super hot, so we'll see how long this lasts. But something that's been coming up a lot lately is combining your spiritual modalities. So, you know, how do you do that? How do you put yourself out there using all of your gifts and abilities? And as spiritual entrepreneurs, as spiritual people, learning to be entrepreneurs, however you're classifying yourself, whether you got your shit together or you're just figuring your shit out or trying to figure your shit out. The reality is we end up really singularly talking about our gifts and abilities. So I'm an intuitive medium, Akashic Records expert. So I help you heal, clear, understand, process, and reactivate through your Akashic Records. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm a shamanic practitioner. I'm an angelic healer. I can't remember all the certifications I have. Mediumship, intuitive, Reiki. There's all of these certifications and modalities that I have, and I use light language. There's so many certifications and modalities that I have for my spiritual world. For my marketing world, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing and management, and I have an associate's degree in graphic design. So I have a lot of certifications, a lot of degrees, a lot of all of the things. But when you really start going to put all of your work into practice, what really happens is you really combine your modalities. Your modalities turn into this combination, this really unique space. That's where your gifts and abilities really take off, because you start really combining your modalities. So for me, I really don't use traditional Reiki anymore. I did actually yesterday use it on a clearing, which I really generally don't use Reiki anymore. So really I go by what that person needs, but combining your gifts and modalities. So it's taken me years. I'm like, well, that's an Akashic, that's not an intuitive, that's this. But what really happens in my sessions now is all of the things that I do come out into sessions and one-on-one work and my program. So what really happens is I use a combination of the Akashic Records, past life healing, past life clearing, past life understanding, clarity, clearing curses, blocks, and cords. And what really happens with that is reactivating of gifts as well. So we reactivate gifts in our Akashic Records. You know, what good things that we've done, the good things we can bring forward, how can we use it today? Is it part of our purpose? There's so much expansion and availability in your Akashic Records. And when I learned the Akashic Records, I just learned the Akashic Records. I've spent the last 5.5 years developing all of these methods in the Akashic Records. So it's expanded and it grows. So I use a lot of light language, I use a lot of clearing and healing, and I have created some very advanced methods for clearing and healing. I clear entities and beings and negative attachments and demons and yucky, horrible, gross things. I clear that, but we do a lot of that stuff through Akashic Records as well. There's shit that comes from past lives. You know, and how do you talk about that? How do you market that? How do you offer that as a service? All of that shit really comes fleeting into you in that moment of, you know, okay, I want to start putting myself out there. I want to start charging. I want to have a business. I want to help people. I want to give people messages. You know, for me, and what I've learned over the years is I don't want to just be a medium that delivers messages. I want to be part of your integrative process. I want to be part of your development. How do you connect to spirit? I want your connection to spirit to be easy, fast, strong. I want you to look over and know who's there. I want you to look over and know if there's somebody you need to call on, you can call on them. I want you to 100% know and be super fucking confident in who's going to be there, when are they going to be there, who is it, I'm getting a message, somebody's present. I want you to know immediately how to do that. And I want you to be able to connect to realms and timelines and your starseed gifts and past lives. I want you to be able to connect to everything and anything that you need in that moment. And that is how I've really developed my practice, is allowing it to be easy, allowing it to come through, I don't have to call on certain spirits or guides or anything for that to happen. My main guide, my bouncer guide are always with me. That's just a given. And anything else, anyone else that comes in is who I or that person needs at that time for that clearing, for that whatever. So when I channel clearings every week for my students, it's not really about calling in each individual guide. I just have a collective. Anybody in the group, if they need something specific, please make it come forward. Have it come through in this clearing. Anybody in the future that needs this clearing or listens to this clearing also benefits and gets whatever they need. So I really like to leave my practice open to who and what people need. So allowing that to just be the easy part. You don't have to control or do all of the things. So how do you combine your modalities? And what really happens is, as I want you to think about it this way, when you think about combining your modalities, how do I sell it? How do I talk about it? How do I make money from it? You're coming from this perspective of you want to do and be all of the things. So how do you really go about combining your modalities? Combining your modalities is really about really looking at the process you already have, because you're already naturally combining your modalities. So, how are you using them in a session? So I do have an intuitive marketing and business development session where we really kind of dig deeper into the business aspects. I am not a business guide or mentor, but I have 24 years of marketing, design, business development. So it is something that I offer because I do like it. I do like to watch people's spark and people's ignition of their abilities in their business, a shift, a transformation, really bringing all their modalities into one place. I really do love it. And when I look in people's souls, if they have hit all of the spaces that they need, I immediately see in their soul exactly where they could be, what they should be doing. It's a really cool thing that I just really recognize this week that really happens. But if you're in this place of, okay, I do Reiki, I do sound healing, I do, I've done some shamanic stuff, I do, I'm an intuitive, I'm a medium, whatever you call yourself. I do not like the word psychic. I know it's still part of my witch wounds, and I don't like the word psychic, but I'm an intuitive, medium, psychic, all of them. I see, hear, feel, know. I can read people's bodies. I feel people's bodies. I know what's happening. I know what they say to themselves. So I'm very open and I get a lot of information from spirit, from people, from their souls, from whatever it is. So I call myself an intuitive medium because that's just what I call myself. I don't like the word psychic, and plus psychic gets really banned on a lot of platforms, or you get spammed with horrible scammers if you use the word psychic. So if you think about combining your modalities, I want you to think about it like this. Think about it in: what sessions do you offer? How do you help people? When you go about a session, what does that look like? Do you plan for it? Do you prepare for it? Do you just intentionally do Reiki, but other things happen? So for me, I remember what I really noticed was when I learned Reiki, and I really had a hard time with it, because what I was learning in Reiki, traditional Reiki, Usui Reiki, I'm a holy fire Reiki master teacher, was that I wasn't getting information like I was taught. So I was like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. But the reality was, my mentor said, and this was the best thing I've ever heard, because I felt really restricted, like I wasn't using it how she was teaching me. So then I felt bad, like I'm not good enough, but the reality is, she's like, you need to make it yours. So it was like that permission I needed. So every modality from then on, what I learned, and I really learned the basics in modalities, and I really had to teach myself along the way. But what I really learned was, my gifts really expand pretty rapidly when I allow them to. So my Reiki really turned into a very big intuitive process. I go into the bloodstream, I go into the body. So now a lot of times what spirit does for me is it's almost like Superman eyes, is like I x-ray people in their body. Like I can pinpoint where on an organ or something isn't working right, or I'll just get, maybe if it's a food intolerance or something. I am not a medical medium, I'm not a doctor, I'm not any of those things, but I can offer insights as to what spirit is bringing me, as to where, you might be. So if you're trying to combine your modalities, don't overthink it and don't fucking overcomplicate it. How am I going to solve this? How am I going to talk about it? And really, and this is even for me, it's taken me 5.5 years to get to this point. My main method that I'm calling it is soul alchemy, because I really go into your mind, your body, your soul. We figure out what's in your past life, what's in this life, what do we need to clear, what do we need to heal, what do we need to understand. But it also has intuitive, and it's also asking questions to your spirit team. And so my soul alchemy sessions are really just based on, what do you need? Where are you at? What do we need to do about it? So we just really talk in that session. Where are you at? Is it connecting to spirit? And then we can do a really deep soul clearing. So I literally just adjusted my stuff yesterday. Instead of having intuitive sessions and soul alchemy, I'm like, there's no reason. I'm going to combine them, and it's just going to be soul alchemy from now on. So, it's taken me even 5.5 years to really whittle down things. And don't think that you have to tell everybody every modality that you use. You can find a way to talk about the combination of and make it simple. And that's what I'm really learning, is trying to make things as simple as possible so people understand. But then you're like, well, how do they really know the true power behind it, and this and that? And then that's a harder one, So for me, a lot of my power really comes through in my testimonials, what people really get, where people really are after even just a single session, whether they mentor with me, they're in my accelerated intuitive program, whether they do the accelerated intuitive privately, which is what some people are doing. And it doesn't really matter how you're working with me. It's those testimonials that you get of the benefit that people get after a session, after a clearing, after whatever it is. So I used to have clearings, and then I had intuitive sessions, and then I had Akashic sessions. So I've whittled that a lot down this year. There's no reason for any of it, because in reality, I do all of it in a session anyway. So I was trying to pay attention to my skin. I burn really fast, and I haven't been out in the sun all summer because I feel like my skin's getting red already. So it's really nice to actually get some sun and to be outdoors and walk by myself and not have my brace on or crutches. It's pretty fucking freeing. It's been 12 weeks. So if you have questions about this, combining your modalities, you're like, Erin, I don't know, how do I combine them, how do I do that, you're welcome to DM me. I'm not obviously going to just give you a full intuitive ledger over a DM or anything, but you can kind of ask those questions. Would it be beneficial? I don't know. I want to combine. So how I like to think about it is, you want to create your kind of signature process, your signature method. Your signature method ends up being your one-to-one. Your signature method ends up being your program. Your signature method ends up being your big thing, and then you build all of your other things. So for me personally, I've kind of gone backwards in that process. It's taken me 5 years. My business is 5 years old. It's taken me really 5 years. Accelerated Intuitive is my big thing. So it is my big program, but I've also found that some people want that program as one-to-one. So now some people with me are doing that program one-to-one. So they get the individual attention from me. They can still come on group calls if they choose, but they get individual calls with me. They get individual Telegram with me. And then the people in the group, they have the group access. They can talk in the group. They can collaborate or, really talk about other people in the group. And the other people share their experience. This is where I was at. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm experiencing. And it's a full moon today. So the energy of a full moon, will bitch slap the shit right out of you. I always end up getting my period on the full moon, which is, I've had it for a couple of days, but my mood tanks, my energy tanks. And then for me, the moon is a big thing. So I have serious intention set with spirit that every moon, full moon, new moon, they filter that energy, help me filter that energy for my highest and best good, instead of letting it hit me like a punch in the face. And I know when that anger, and I know for me when the anger starts building the week of the moon. So I have to remember to set that intention with spirit, like, hey, filter that energy, because I want to use it for my highest and best good. I don't want it to turn me into a raging bitch. So it's really all about combining and learning about yourself, about your modalities, how they work. What do you really offer? What are you doing that you really don't like? Is there anything in there that you really don't like? I love Reiki. I love teaching Reiki. I do not use Reiki anymore, really that much, that often, intentionally. I don't offer it as a session. I don't offer, if it comes through in what I'm doing, then that's what that person needs. That's why I really like to leave my practice open to what that person, their soul, their mind, their body, and their soul really needs. So if you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out. Like I said, Accelerated Intuitive is my big program. It's a really huge development and ability shifting program. We use a combination of DNA activations, accessing your Akashic records, clearing, healing, processing through your Akashic records. You learn how to connect to really more expansive and powerful guides, your starseed roots, light language. There's a lot that you learn through Accelerated Intuitive, and I'm always adding to it and shifting it and changing it as people go through and as people need more things. So like I said, I do have intuitive marketing and business development session. It's really a pretty intense 2.5 hour call, really focused on your business, your development. What do we need to clear from your past lives, heal from your past lives? What cords or wounds are holding you back in your business? And then we really look at this, like, okay, so what modalities are you using? What do you really like? What do you not really like? How do we combine them? How do we put them together? What are you already doing? How can we just add to it? So it's just this integrative process. I just really wanted to talk about combining your modalities, because I know a lot of us intuitives, healers, light workers, starseeds, whatever the fuck you're calling yourself, really gets hung up on what do we say, how do we say it, how do we talk about it so people know what we do. But when the reality is, it's less about what modalities we use and what we bring to people, how we really help them, how we really guide them, how we help change their lives and connect to spirit in a different, more powerful way. And some people that I work with, they just want to give messages from loved ones. That's fucking beautiful and awesome. That is 100% not what I do not want to do. I want to be in the growth and expansion part, but wherever you're at. So like I said, I have students who want to give messages of loved ones. It is a powerful and empowering and important place. So don't feel bad about wherever you're at, what do you want to be doing? Because maybe in 2 years, you're going to shift that and it's going to change. Maybe you don't want to just give messages. Maybe you want to give messages on a big stage instead of one-on-one. Maybe you want to give messages in a group reading instead, maybe a group of 8 instead of just one. Whatever it is, wherever you're at, it is okay. Don't feel bad. Don't try to diminish where you're at or where you want to be because you don't know how to get there. You don't know what to do. So do not give up and do not hesitate and do not think that you can only use one modality. Combine your modalities, even if you don't have a name for it yet. You're powerful and you're meant to use all those abilities for a reason. They're coming to you for a reason. They're easy to use for a reason. So please do not diminish what you do or what you're offering because you don't know how to talk about it or you don't know if people will understand what you're doing or the power behind it. Really just talk about the transformation that you're bringing to people. How are you really helping people? What are you really doing for them, And that's really where the focus needs to be, not on the modalities themselves, because the modalities don't fucking matter. It's really your dedication to how you're helping people use those. How are you helping people heal and clear and process and move forward? Maybe you're a grief person focusing on grief from loved ones. Maybe you just want to connect people to their loved ones. Maybe finding your personal power. And I know a lot of people are like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Your personal power is really finding who you are, finding your purpose, and then putting that purpose out into the world, finding out who you really fucking are, what you bring to the world. I like to call it your superpower. I like to help you find your superpower because your superpower is all that you are, all that you can be, all that you're meant to be. And we can look through your Akashic records to help find that as well. Find your power, find your purpose, find your abilities. And there's just so much power and purpose, especially through your past lives. Healing, clearing, clarity, and understanding, if you know me, talking about past lives and the work and healing and clearing, processing and reactivating through your past lives. If you're not doing any of that, you're not going to fully get through your healing journey or your intuitive journey, because if you are not tapping into your soul's true power, you are missing out on half of who you are and who you can be and who you should be. So please let me know if you have any questions. It's hot as balls outside, so I think I'm going to go in because my phone's getting uber hot too. But please do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions. I hope you have an awesome Saturday, and I will talk to you later.